it's over for you.
You
Before
baby
you done. That's why your mama don't love you. Shaking her head at you right now. What a shame.
Babizulu, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you, man. First of all, I know you're busy. You got a lot going on for yourself. You're working and things like that. Can I just ask you, like, how are you feeling right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right now I feel good. A lot of the things that, you know, I guess like the mini tasks are definitely taken care of. Yeah, I feel good.
Nice. All right, so recently we just did a video with Good Projects in collaboration with Good Projects DC. They're actually a nonprofit. They help youth and mentoring services and stuff like that in the DMV area. They do really good work with the community in DC. And so when we were going around and interviewing people, we actually were asking them a certain question that corresponds with Moretto as a brand, right? And that question was, when we say the words higher self, what does that mean to you? So I'm asking you yourself, when I say the words higher self, what does that mean to you?
When I think about the wording higher self, I think about the version of myself that is constantly seeking to stay aligned to the path that has been preordained for my life journey, and it's also like a source of guidance as well. Yeah.
You had said preordained. You feel as though you're just sort of acting out what's already written for you?
Yes, I feel that it's a co-creation. So I feel that like I've been given a path that I decided to take upon myself, but then also, you know, there is like the lower self that is like seeking to like have its own journey, and me being the vessel of the two, I feel like it is my journey to best, or as much as possible, align myself with the higher version of myself. Yeah. So just going through life and using like experiences to constantly upgrade that lower self until the lower self kind of aligns with the choices that the higher self decides to make.
So that actually lines into one of the questions that I have prepared for you, right? What is something, an everyday practice that you've implemented in your life, but it has helped you tremendously? Something small or maybe something big, but has really made a big difference in your life.
Meditation. That is something that definitely is like a I don't know, at this point it's like it's a part of me now. And I feel like that has definitely changed like who I am as a person. Seeing that like through meditation is kind of how I connect with the higher self. So it's like as much as possible that I get to connect with that higher self, it is as much as that becomes even more a part of my decision making. And I feel like meditation is like a tool that kind of helps that lower self upgrade itself by being in connection. And I think that is also just the power of connection, that when you are connected to individuals that want to see the best out of you, that you through that relationship create a higher version of yourself. Yeah.
So you feel as though community is a big aspect of what you do?
Yes. Community is so funny. Yes, community, I feel like, is something that I aim to like create. It's almost like I guess the word could be like dichotic, maybe, like experience for me myself, because it's like, okay, I'm an Aquarius, but then also like I have a lot of like other things like in my chart that kind of pull me to like want to isolate, and so I don't know, there's just always like that pull kind of happening within myself to be by self, or to be by myself, and then to also like be in community. But yeah, I do think community is very important.
So you had mentioned isolation also being a part of that? Do you feel like it's a give and take thing? You feel like it's a, do you find yourself kind of teetering on the edge, or are you able at this point now to balance each one? And if so, how are you able to do that?
Yeah, I do think isolation is important. I feel like what we should be doing is first prioritizing communion with the higher self, or a source, and then we gather information, and then in community with others on this same journey to align with our higher self, we synthesize that information and come up with a like agreeable point. I mean, sometimes that's what happens, and other times that's not what happens, and people decide to create communities of their own and go their own separate ways. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we are synthesizing and trying to reflect oneness. Yeah.
Nice, man. Okay. Well, so if everyone lived in their higher self, what do you think would change in the world?
I think the way that we deal with each other would change. I think our capacity for love would change. I think that all the drama that like time kind of creates and space kind of creates would dissolve. Yeah, we would just more quickly like align to what it is that we're supposed to do. Like, yeah, I feel like what that would look like is two people coming together in a space and literally through telepathic communication or through some type of like energy, like even right now, right? Like you can feel me, I can feel you, right? And so that I feel like would become even more heightened, and at that moment we would decide should we continue or not, like just based off of like kind of seeing each other and feeling each other. Yeah.
Wow. So for you, the higher self and human connection in general is outside of time and space.
Definitely. Yeah, I believe you can't really like force anything to happen on your own time. I feel like there are frequencies that or how could I put it? I feel like there are entities that have their own timing that affect the collective timing. And so, you know, going back to the idea of like co-creation, we're all kind of creating that timing, you know, for us all, really. You know, it's the reason why, you know, you could say that collectively, and not just in America, but you could say that collectively throughout the whole world, certain events have happened for certain presidents to become presidents. Certain things have happened for, you know, for us to even find an animal that was extinct or that we thought was extinct. Certain things happen for us to even think that certain things go missing. Yeah, I feel like time is really like that energy that kind of like controls just different facets of, yeah, our life. Wow. Yeah.
Did you get this level of understanding from meditation? Did that help you?
Let me see. That's a very good question. I don't really know when I started to like kind of like talk like this. I would say that, you know, I definitely grew up in the church with my grandmother, and so I definitely was like predisposed to like just spiritual like ways of interpreting like the world around me. And I, through like my connections, started to kind of like experience other like ways of interpreting, like through friends. You know, it's kind of like the process of life is that, like, you know, your family is your first community, and then you kind of, or should maybe outgrow that. You know, stay connected to who you should stay connected to. You don't just, you know, cut people off, but whoever is able to grow with you, you know, you grow with them. But if not, you know, you'll grow into a different community, and oftentimes that becomes like our friends, and then within like, or who we think are our friends, and then we start to just synthesize even more. It's that community making. You start to align yourself through that, and you know, certain information just resonates. And I feel like as far as like information or informational resonance, I feel like you pick up things, and it's almost like you just begin to know, like your consciousness begins to fill in the blanks. And so through that you kind of just go on your own process of, like, fact checking, and
So for you, you're a musician, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like your craft is the result of that co-creation that you were speaking about?
Definitely. I was literally thinking today about how I had put this like note on my Instagram story, and I was talking about how I felt like I was in connection with, like, the greats. Like, some of the people that I look up to is like Nina Simone, George Clinton, Lenny Kravitz, even at this point. And it's through, like, this almost like meditation process, because to create is like you're putting like your mind in a meditation space to be able to create. Like, this is why, like, things like sex are important, and also, like, just pure meditation, because it does put your mind into, like, maybe like a beta state. I don't know if I'm using that term right, but that's what these things, like, do. And it's when you're in that state that, like, you are at your most creative, and it's almost like your words match, or not even your words, it's just that, like, you kind of, like, dimension travel into a space where the things that you desire have now come into fruition. And so I do think that, like, through this dimensional traveling, that, like, I'm also meeting other artists who have already existed, like, in a physical form. I get to, through music, communicate with them, on a astral level.
I learn a lot from you when we talk, like a lot from you, man. That's like, as a musician, right? You know the importance of vibration, and the fact that, energetically, what you put out is what you get back. Or really what you put out becomes the world that you live in, right? And that's part of what we believe here in Moretto as well. We believe in actually building your own heaven, right? So it's not just waiting to die to go someplace else. That's part of our brand, is that we actually believe that heaven can be achieved right here and right now. You know what I mean? So that being the case, how does it feel when you put on a garment that has, like, an angel on it? What is that? Does it make you feel a certain kind of way? Does it remind you of anything?
Yeah. I feel like it's just one of the many ways that, like, my soul is choosing to, like, express the synthesization that is happening. So fashion is important because it is like a reflection of the soul. And so I feel like when I get to put on an angel on me, I am definitely aligning with that idea, that frequency, and
Man, that's good. That's
because I mean, if we're making heaven on earth, then who do we become?
Angels.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm glad we were able to help out with that. That means a lot, man. Because it's steadily just trying to encourage people just to live a little bit better every day. It's a tough process, even for myself, you know what I mean? And so, like, moments like these are really what recharge me, because it's like this interview is just as much for me as it is for you, you know what I mean? It really does help. What's one step that anybody watching right now could take to get closer to their higher self?
I would say meditation. Because I just feel like meditation is going to allow you to connect with those higher frequencies that allow you to be in touch with your higher self. And, once you kind of get familiar with that, you'll just create that relationship with your higher self. And then from there, life will kind of just unfold the way that it's supposed to unfold. But meditation is key. If I had a child today, like, they will be listening to meditation, like, out the womb. Yeah, very important.
That's tough. Well, Babizulu, that's our cue. Thank you so much. We
No
really
problem.
appreciate you. Is there anything else that you want to say to the people? Do you want to plug your Instagram, Facebook, whatever, new projects you got coming out, anything at all?
Yeah. I have a self-titled project called Babizulu coming out. And you can follow me on Instagram at BABIZULU_. That's it.
Nice. All right, man. Thank you.
No problem.